The last 8 months have been pretty difficult on the McBrooms. Austin was in the middle of controversy for not paying fighters, the family had to move out of their dream home, Catherine was getting sued by a company she founded, and Austin was served with multiple lawsuits. Surprise, surprise, Catherine and Austin McBroom are getting sued again. This time they're being sued by TBL Cosmetics. Wait a minute, wasn't that the same company that sued Catherine like 6 months ago? If you've been keeping up with all the drama, then yes it is. It's her company suing her again. This action concerns social media influencer and internet celebrity Catherine McBroom's breach of the terms of an August 19, 2021 settlement agreement with TBL Cosmetics Inc. I enjoy covering influencer culture, and I think this story is fascinating to see just how much money can be made when an influencer has their own brand, and of course how not to conduct business. In April 2021, TBL was forced to file a lawsuit against Ms. McBroom both individually and derivatively, seeking damages in excess of $30 million. Quick reminder, TBL is a well-established cosmetics company formed by seasoned professionals that specialize in creating, building, and scaling cosmetics brands. TBL teamed up with the McBrooms to create 1212 Gateway, a company creating products in the makeup and beauty space. In case some of you aren't familiar, anytime you see an influencer create a company with products, in almost every scenario, what's really happening is they're just the face of the company and they're teaming up with an established company that handles the entire operations, fulfillment, customer service, sales, product development, and everything else. This company was no different. Ms. McBroom was to be the face of 1212 Gateway, while TBL was to be the brains, lending its considerable expertise to building the company, running its day-to-day operations, and strategically positioning 1212 Gateway for long-term growth and success, including beyond Ms. McBroom's influencer circle. If you start looking into influencer-driven companies, you'll understand how they're so successful so quickly. Kylie Jenner teamed up with Seed Beauty in 2014 to help build her cosmetics brand. Details about Logan Paul and KSI's new product Prime haven't been released, but they for sure teamed up with an established company to handle the back end. Nelk did the same thing with their Happy Dad drink. 1212 Gateway had initial success due in large part to TBL's role in planning, positioning, and running the day-to-day operations of the company, and when Ms. McBroom performed her marketing obligations, the company benefited. If I could be an angel investor in a large influencer's product company, I would sell all of my real estate yesterday and pony up every single dollar I make from YouTube if I were to get ownership. These companies are insanely successful. I've seen indications that the startup cost is somewhere around $250,000 to $500,000, and these are all 9-figure companies within a couple of years. But major issues soon arose between Ms. McBroom and the management of TBL because of her failure to perform her obligations. The McBrooms attempted to improperly take control of the company and oust the CEO, an officer, and TBL executive, in effect an improper corporate coup. Here's the ownership chart showing Catherine as having 63% ownership in 1212 Gateway, TBL Cosmetics having 30% ownership, and Paul Kazers as having 7%. The entire startup capital needed was $400,000. In March of 2021, Ms. McBroom improperly obtained various administrative access credentials, changed the passwords, and kept TBL from its proper role within the company. Despite engaging in good faith negotiations, Ms. McBroom continuously misled TBL management, refused to return control over to the TBL management team, and thus materially breached the operating agreement. Once you find out how financially successful these companies are, reading this lawsuit is equivalent to watching The Godfather in the theaters, and 20 minutes in, the screen shifts to a Michael Bay movie. You're sitting there thinking, wait, what? No, this wasn't supposed to end like this. During this time, Ms. McBroom mismanaged the operations and infrastructure, costing immeasurable goodwill and reputation. She continued to exclude TBL from vital corporate systems and seize control over 1212 Gateway's customer service operations, turning such operations over to family members and other associates. This same problem happens with athletes who inevitably end up in financial ruin. They have a chance to let professionals handle all of the work, but decide to give control to family members and people they grew up with. During this time, and without board approval, Ms. McBroom attempted to relocate 1212 Gateway's product fulfillment operations onto her own property to be run by family members, holding both product inventory and fulfillment services ransom to her whims. My guess from reading this is that Catherine saw how much money was being made and wanted more. Why pay experts to handle operations when you can just do everything yourself? What can go wrong? Chaos ensued because of Ms. McBroom's mishandling of operations, leading to increased volumes of negative customer feedback, complaints about shipping issues, and other unaddressed customer inquiries. This resulted in missed opportunities for 1212 Gateway, including a delayed restock event whereby the company would have realized an estimated $2 million in sales. You want to know something crazy? The easiest money I've ever seen made is from influencer products. All the influencer has to do is post on their social media about the product that they own. All of the work being done is from the company that shares ownership, product development, creation, customer service, sales, fulfillment, shipping, labeling, paying the bills. I could go on and on. The influencer doesn't do any of that. All they have to do is post about the product on social media. I'll give you an example. Back in August 2020, the McBrooms released a video on their Ace Family YouTube channel titled Our New Family Business, where they show the audience a behind-the-scenes look at their new product being made called Silly Juice. It gives you an opportunity to see what goes into the making of a product. There are so many moving parts, and all the work is being done by the company the influencer partners with. If that was not enough harm to the company, Miss McBroom informed TBL that she intended to unilaterally and without a vote by members dissolve 1212 Gateway LLC. Miss McBroom attempted to use this threat as leverage to require TBL accede to her demands to control operations, oust the CEO, and endeavor to appoint a new CEO and board manager. These influencer products are basically a turnkey operation for the influencer. You team up with a company with a proven track record and the entire back end built. All you have to do is pick a few flavors of drink or tell them what type of face cream you prefer and you have a product. The influencer provides value by posting about the product to their audience. It's basically a company with millions of impressions at technically zero marketing cost. That leads to very healthy margins. TBL Cosmetics decided to sue Catherine based on her behavior and attempt at ripping up the lottery ticket that was handed to her. Miss McBroom failed to mount a defense, and on June 28, 2021, the clerk of court entered TBL's request for entry of default, and on August 12, 2021, TBL requested judgment by default in the action. In layman's terms, Catherine didn't provide a good defense in the lawsuit and lost. That lawsuit was asking for $30 million in damages, so by receiving a judgment, I believe that means she owes $30 million. Some very large number, basically. Within a few days of obtaining a default judgment against Miss McBroom, she finally engaged in discussions with TBL. TBL, with a desire to get 1212 Gateway back on track and to continue to work with Miss McBroom in her marketing role, decided to negotiate an agreement. Miss McBroom promised that she would give her best efforts to making 1212 Gateway a success. Catherine clearly believed in the company because she immediately wanted to continue doing business and agreed to a settlement agreement. She had a lot of skin in the game too. Despite the unambiguous requirements for social media postings in both the operating agreement and the settlement agreement, Catherine McBroom has failed to meet the schedule and frequency of social media postings. All TBL Cosmetics needed was for Catherine to post content on her social media about a brand she has 63% ownership in. I hope this is clear. This is a company that could turn her $280,000 initial investment into tens of millions of dollars if she just posts about it on her social media. She has refused to attend monthly marketing meetings and work collaboratively with TBL for the benefit of 1212 Gateway. Miss McBroom has refused to agree upon an independent board member or put forward best efforts to find one. Austin McBroom has failed to satisfy his duties as a manager of 1212 Gateway as required. Post on your social media, attend monthly meetings, and help find a fifth board member is literally all they were asking. TBL Cosmetics believe they were damaged $30 million for a company that existed for like 6 months. That tells you what kind of value these influencer companies have when everything is going smoothly.
Elderberry. Elderberry is so good for you. This is good for kids. There's one for kids. So this is a brand called Mary Ruth's. I've been using them for 2 years. This is not a brand deal. I genuinely like their products.
This video was mentioned in the lawsuit. Trust me, I don't watch their content. I put period blood on my husband's face. He freaked out is not exactly content I click on in my YouTube feed. What's bothering TBL Cosmetics is that Catherine is not promoting 1212 Gateway products in her content as was discussed in detail in their settlement agreement, but she is promoting another product. The terms require certain types of content posted on specific daily or weekly schedules. However, Miss McBroom has not posted on the various social media accounts in these amounts or schedules since entering into the settlement agreement. In fact, she has done virtually nothing. What the lawsuit is alleging is that she basically manipulated TBL Cosmetics into a settlement agreement to drop the judgment against her, claims she's a changed woman, she'll post about a company she owns in her social media content, and everything will be back to normal. Here we are less than 6 months later, and another lawsuit filed alleging she's done nothing. Miss McBroom has failed to give a reasonable amount of press and media interviews, participate in a reasonable amount of promotional videos, assist in the creation of a creative brief, and provide ongoing promotion of the brand, including no less than 100 posts in aggregate on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram static feed, Instagram stories, TikTok, and or other social media posts per year. This is equivalent to ripping up a lottery ticket. All she has to do is post about a company that she has 63% ownership in to her social media accounts, and she could reasonably make tens of millions of dollars. Do you understand how insane this is? The company's board of managers are divided between those 2 seats under Miss McBroom's control and the 2 controlled by TBL. Miss McBroom has failed to fulfill her obligations under the operating agreement and settlement agreement to agree and vote to appoint a 5th manager to the board. Here's the board of managers indicating that 2 votes are given to TBL, 2 votes given to the McBrooms, and 1 to an independent manager. As part of their agreement, the McBrooms and TBL were to agree on the 5th member. TBL is alleging that the McBrooms have put forward 0 effort to help find a 5th member. The reason why that 5th member is so important is because because voting on company matters can reach deadlock without an odd number of managers. In August 2021, Catherine McBroom made a promise to TBL that she would perform her obligations and fulfill her duties under the operating agreement and settlement agreement. She made this misrepresentation with no intent to perform when she made it. The McBrooms are a perfect example of why I think influencer-driven products and companies are the next big wave in business. They've basically failed at everything they've done, have a history of scamming their fans, create content that is standard deviations below what is considered high quality, fumbled every opportunity given to them, and didn't follow a simple agreement for a company that has potential of being a 9-figure company. And guess what happened? TBL Cosmetics still agreed to drop a judgment to give them a second chance. They still have millions of views on their videos. They still have fans that want to support them. Imagine if they had an ounce of business talent and acumen. This is a couple who did everything wrong and they still make money. Here's the store locator for finding Silly Juice, their product. If you zoom in on the Southwest, you can see that there are a lot of stores selling their product. My guess is they make good money from the sales of Silly Juice and their merchandise. You'd be surprised how much money these influencers can make from selling merch. I just finished reading the Fifth Vital book, and near the end, Mike wrote that Logan Paul sold $30 million in merch in 2017 and was expected to surpass $50 million in revenue the following year. I say that as reference to what's possible when you have a huge audience. One event that underwhelmed with sales was Austin McBroom's Social Gloves event, and it looks like we may have reached the conclusion of the drama surrounding that event. Dave Brooks wrote this article for Billboard and told me where to find his intel on LiveXLive settling with Austin. In LiveXLive's most recent 10Q filing with the SEC, during the quarter ended December 31, 2021, the parties settled their claims for $3 million, and the parties to this action dismissed each of their claims described herein with prejudice. That $3 million payout will hopefully go to the fighters and not be kept in Austin's pockets. Rent's gotta be paid, but so do the fighters. If you're looking for the Ace family to fail, I hate to break it to you, it's not gonna happen anytime soon. As long as they receive the same level of attention, they're going to be presented with countless amounts of lottery tickets. And each time, they'll find a way to fumble the opportunity, get dealt a lawsuit, and move on like nothing happened. Thanks for watching.